it at.
Tgan. I do this shit for the love of the game.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
What up? What up? What up? What up? Gotta double check, make sure y'all can hear me. What up? What up? What up? Okay. Alrighty, welcome to Tgan Live, episode whatever, I forget already. 26 maybe? So yeah, I didn't have a show last week, not that it matters, but I was volunteering for the Calgary Folk Fest, so that's 2 weeks of news to catch up on, but I don't know what happened a whole lot last week besides Zach Krager did some stuff at Comic-Con, so that's worth looking at. And they just released a little scene from the Street Fighter movie, like a minute-long little scene, so that's interesting. As you can see right here on my actual main page with my 2 views per video, but yeah. You got the Street Fighter thing, which I took a look at, and the actor from Legend of Zelda had a little talk, but literally like a minuscule little blurb during an interview that he did about House of the Dragon, which I haven't seen, and for whatever reason I have no interest in watching that show. But how y'all do? I got a bunch of news lined up along the top. So someone had an article that I thought was interesting because I wanted to see what they were saying just from like a day or two ago on the Wrap. Someone named Kayla Cobb. Interesting name. Oops. Kayla Cobb is saying the imploding. What does that mean for Hollywood? I don't know. Imploding makes it sound like it's a bad thing. Bah, 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 bah. I don't know. Imploding makes it sound like... I'm a little snotty. I was sneezing like crazy. I'm actually allergic to my cat, but whatever. She's trying to cool off. It's a little hot here today. So what does this lady have to say? Last spring, theaters were full of audiences screaming chicken jockey alongside Jack Black as a Minecraft movie soared to become the 5th highest grossing movie of the year, earning $96 million. God damn it. A little more than a year later, the parent company behind the video game is based on is no longer celebrating. Well, I don't know why you want to act like layoffs in the game industry is going to affect game adaptations, but okay. Earlier this month, Microsoft and Xbox, which owns the studio behind the uber popular game, would be laying off 20% of its teams. Roughly 3,200 people are expected to lose their jobs in the latest round of sweeping cuts. For an industry that is struggling to stay ahead of changing customer habits, it's a juxtaposition that shows 2 drastically different sides of video games and game adaptations. As movies and shows like Super Mario Galaxy, Hedgehog 3, and Fallout prove Hollywood has finally figured out how to adapt the games after years of failure. So deep a video game movie curse was coined. The makers of these games are in disarray. Damn it, I don't know, sometimes I'm more allergic than other times. I used to take pills for it, but then I was just like, I don't want to have to take pills every day just to hang out with my cat, so. But it's a stressful time that could prove to be a boon for Hollywood as smaller independent game makers make for less red tape when Hollywood comes calling to adapt. Plus, the entertainment industry is in the midst of a booming partnership with most popular games of all free-to-play platforms like Fortnite and Roblox, where everything from the Oscar winner Sinners and Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey appear to bid to reach young audiences. I don't really see how Sinners was trying to bid to young audiences. It's like a horror movie about vampires. Was it vampires? I forget. While the gaming industry itself may be at a low, Hollywood's game adaptation pipeline has never been more fruitful. While spending on console games has rebounded from the pandemic, much of the spending is going to fewer big live services. Well, yeah, 2020 was when the pandemic started, but I actually think the disruption strengthens the pipeline. A film producer known for Adrian Ascarai. A film producer known for adapting the Hitman video game series and CEO of Prime Universe Films told The Wrap, the gaming industry is going through the same market correction Hollywood experienced after the streaming boom. Companies are becoming more disciplined about where they invest, which naturally forces them to look for additional ways to maximize the value of their intellectual property. Film and television have become one of the most effective ways to do that. Casper Dugard, the founder and CEO of Delphi Interactive, agrees that an increase in independent studios could accelerate the adaptation process. Delphi Interactive is a game development and publishing company that specializes in games based on existing properties and franchises. The company worked in collaboration with IO Interactive on the critically acclaimed James Bond origin game 007 First Light. Dugard sees the current chaos in the gaming industry as a course correction after COVID. These shifting tides are coming as Hollywood's relationship with gaming has drastically changed. Instead of looking at a video game as an afterthought, which was the case for decades when studios used to crank out hastily made tie-in games for every buzzy movie or show, the film and TV industries have started to take this medium seriously. That means meeting gamers through integrations with games like Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft. I wonder, considering Minecraft did so well, I'm surprised they haven't even announced a Fortnite or Roblox movie yet, but I'm sure it's in the works. I can see Roblox doing like a CG animated type thing. Maybe it already does. I don't really know Roblox, really. It also means ensuring the key elements of these games are reflected in their adaptations. Float. This is a 10-year-old picture. That's the best picture you could find of this guy from 10 years ago. That's the role Ben Mate's. Could these guys just have normal names, please? Like, frick. I don't know how to pronounce these names. The creative officer for Angry Birds at Rovio occupies. Occupies? I love to like create a game like Angry Birds, like some tiny little thing that seems simple and it blows the balls up. Matt knows the mobile game so well. He's known the industry as Mr. Angry Birds. Oh. But as the Angry Birds Movie 3 prepares for release later this year, the third installment is the first time he has been directly involved in helping make an adaptation. As an executive producer on the movie, his job has nothing to do with character development or financing. Rather, he's responsible for making sure the movie includes elements that gaming fans will want to see. Transmedia offerings have evolved away from the idea of we're going to launch a movie and we're going to try to retell the story inside the game, towards the idea of we're going to use live service games, whatever they might be, to drive excitement towards the movie. You get into that cycle where you're a lot more likely to turn players into viewers and turn viewers into players. The actual effect on producers and opportunities in film and TV would be very long term, if at all. The acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Now let's go to the Xbox part. Xbox and PlayStation's current chaos explained. Though Xbox mass layoffs are part of a company reset, that Xbox Executive Vice President and Chief Executive Officer Asha Sharma announced earlier this month, the current troubles the company is facing can be traced back to 2023. That's when Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard, the studio behind Call of Duty, in a deal worth $68.7 billion. That was designed to expand the console's number of first-party titles. For decades, the gaming industry was defined by consoles. You choose whether to spend hundreds of dollars on a gaming system depending on what exclusive titles Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo offered. In the digital era, that exclusivity has largely fallen away as even the biggest titles are released for nearly all systems. The activation of Activision Blizzard was supposed to help Xbox win the much-discussed console wars, but instead the purchase was followed by thousands of layoffs and multiple studio closures. 3 months after the deal, 1,900 people were laid off from Microsoft's video game division, a figure that represented almost 9% of all Xbox employees. It's actually a lot. There's a big frozen strawberry in my smoothie. By the end of 2024, around 2,500-ish people had been laid off from Microsoft's gaming division. The segment was then impacted again last year when Microsoft laid off less than 4%. A cut that amounted to about 9,000 active positions. These cuts have also led to multiple studio closures and game cancellations. In its announcement this week, Microsoft said 4 of its studios double fine. I don't think that was made this week. It's like a couple weeks already. Microsoft said 4 of its studios double fine Compulsion, Ninja Theory, and Undead Labs will exit Xbox as part of this reorganization. Arcane, which is known for the Dishonored series, Deathloop, and the upcoming Marvel Blade, will also be leaving Xbox, but the French studio first has to go through a lengthy review. I'm not even sure what that means. While Xbox descended into restructuring chaos, a Sony-owned PlayStation tried to slip some industry-changing news of its own, announcing in early July that the game console will stop selling physical discs in 2028. And they're still getting heat for that. I think it's almost been a month now since the announcement. And some ponies want to do a blackout, but I'm like, I'm wondering how long that's going to last. The announcement caused a massive uproar from users who complained that the move could lead to player losing access to games they paid for, thanks to server shutdowns or account bans, while also creating a Sony-controlled monopoly of the price of games. It didn't help that the announcement came shortly after the company said PlayStation users in the UK will no longer be able to ask the digital title. Was that just in the UK? I thought it was everywhere. Access digital titles from Studio Canal they previously purchased. A stark reminder of potentially ephemeral nature of digital content. For its part, PlayStation has argued that its monthly paid subscription service gives consumers access to library titles they would likely purchase. Yeah, so they're just saying, hey, if you don't want to lose your games, keep buying PlayStation Plus. Because they're greedy. Outside of the console ecosystem, nearly everyone in gaming is scrambling, both due to the threat of AI and behemoths like Fortnite and Roblox. Free-to-play game platforms that continuously provide players with new updates and generate massive monthly audiences, particularly among younger generations. Excitement around a new Fortnite season or a user-generated Roblox game now often replaces the joy gamers once have had for new multi-million-dollar AAA gaming. This is a long-ass article. The value of adaptations of black hole games. Successful movie and show adaptations of popular video games can help breathe new life into the franchises. Prime's highly lauded Fallout, for example, led to an estimated 40 million revenue increase for Bethesda Games Studios and game units alone. The Fallout 5, the first mainline title in the franchise since 2015, is now in pre-production, which is still like, it's been 10 years and it's only in pre-production now. Like, that's ridiculous. And they're still taking forever to get Elder Scrolls 6 out the door. A more recent example is the Super Mario Galaxy movie and its scene-stealing cameo by Glen Powell's Star Fox, which Nintendo followed with a remake of the 1997 game Star Fox 64. See, they were ready. See, PlayStation and Nintendo are getting it. When they release a movie or whatever, then they should have a game to go with it. Xbox is still dropping the ball on that one. But because the development cycles for movies and games are wildly different, these coinciding releases are now more of the exception than the rule. Today, a successful adaptation doesn't have to launch alongside a game. It helps though. It simply has to expand the audience for the franchise. It's a format that's led to an entirely new form of storytelling that's a delicate balance between giving fans what they want and not rehashing the same story beat for beat. The Sonic movies may be wildly different from the games, but they retain the zany, zippy tone of the franchise. I know it's franchise, I'm just saying it funny because I'm weird. Even more serious examples like The Last of Us don't have to follow their source material exactly. However, they do need to stay true to the tone of the games while expanding on the small moments. That's the $1,000,000 transmedia question. What is the right way to do a transmedia adaptation of a video game, or conversely? What is the right way to do a transmedia game of a linear story? Hit adaptations like Fallout and Last of Us seem to indicate the key is to hire esteemed creatives and let them put a prestige TV flourish on the project. To that end, HBO has already tapped Last of Us mastermind Craig Mazin to shepherd an adaptation of the Hasbro franchise Baldur's Gate. At the same time, the promotional role that games used to occupy for Hollywood is filled by what Metz refers to as black hole games, live service games like Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft. As the Wrap has covered before, integrating characters from properties like Simpsons, Squid Game into those games exposes these properties to a vast gaming audience at a much lower cost. That's true. That's the point I never really thought about. It's way cheaper to like just put your characters in Fortnite instead of making a whole new game or a movie out of it. You see some really interesting collaboration initiatives that are sort of like modern-day game of the movie. Platforms like Roblox are creating something Hollywood never really had before, a massive real-time testing grounds for original intellectual property. I don't think every successful Roblox experience becomes a movie, but I absolutely believe platforms like Roblox will become one of the industry's more platform discovery engines. Why hasn't anyone else made something like this? I guess I don't. I've never played it in my life. But it's like games within a game. Delphi Interactive takes its IP adaptations a step further. In addition to collaborations with platforms like Fortnite and Tgan Games, the studio specializes in making curated franchise extending games that live outside of their show or movie source material. Wow. Much like how Peter Parker and Miles Morales are different in the Spider-Man games, Delphi's take on 007 is different from the film franchise. We talked about not trying to adapt the latest James Bond film or an actor into a game. It was creating its own gaming franchise. The defining feature here being that it was an origin story. No matter what's happening at Xbox or PlayStation right now, Hollywood seems gung-ho on investing in game adaptations. In addition to Fallout, which is the production in the third season. Prime Video has a God of War adaptation in the works, Tomb Raider starring Sophie Turner. HBO released third season of The Last of Us, and Noah Hawley and Rob Mack are working on a Far Cry series. Following the success of 2 Mario movies, Nintendo is working on a live-action Legend of Zelda. A24 is Elden Ring, written by Alex Garland, as well as Death Stranding movie, directed by Michael Sarnowski. In this September, Resident Evil returned to theaters in a new movie from Buzzy Weapons and Barbarian director Zach Krager, while Paramount launches a colorful take on Street Fighter. There's also Taylor Sheridan's take on Call of Duty. And then there's Michael B. Jordan Battlefield. So there's a lot going on. Mother of crap, this is the longest article ever written. Just this week, Prime Universe Films scored the adaptation rights to Tormented Souls, which I've never heard of in my life, alongside ZQ Entertainment and Longevity Pictures and the competitive bidding process. Like Among Us and Five Nights at Freddy's before it, it's an acquisition that proves there isn't solely interested in the most expensive or popular games. For years, Hollywood has chased exclusively AA franchises because they have the biggest brand awareness. Today, that's changing. Independent developers are creating incredibly sophisticated worlds with compelling characters, passionate fanbooses, and original mythology. Why can't I stop talking like that? I'm so weird. The next generation of great adaptations won't come exclusively. Oh my god, this article is pissing me off. I can't read it anymore. It's too long. Go fuck yourself. Over here, we got Zach Krager talking about... Zach Krager is talking about Resident Evil. He did a bunch of interviews at Comic-Con last weekend. Die Hard, Back to the Future, Home Alone. Zach Krager revealed what inspired the new Resident Evil. This is over on what? IXBT Games? Never heard of it. Yeah. Okay. Where was I? Iconic movie classics help develop the main character's personality for the new Resident Evil adaptation. Director Zach Krieger shared new details about the upcoming Resident Evil adaptation. In a recent interview with MovieWeb, the filmmaker admitted that while working on the main character's personality and reactions, he and actor Austin Abrams was inspired by 80s cinema, specifically films like Die Hard, Back to the Future, and Home Alone, which came out in 1990. So you're wrong! Not in the 80s. According to Krieger, during filming, he and Abrams constantly referred to these benchmarks for scenes. We're going to scene in Austin to be like, do you think I'm more McClane or more McFly? That's pretty funny. I like that. Are you a McClane or a McFly? They're kind of the same character. Just, I don't know if McFly would jump through a window. And I'd be like, you're McFly here. That's a really good way to put it. Like, instead of just making it whatever, just say, hey, you're McClane, you're McFly, or you're McAllister. Okay, what's up with that? Did they do that on purpose? McClane, McFly, and McAllister? That's weird. Is that just a coincidence? A character acts like Marty McFly, confused and has no idea what to do. That's his default state. Only occasionally does he manage to pull off something cool, returning to John McClane, and the rest of the time he's panicking like a real Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. But that's it? Jesus Christ, the article is 5 words long. I went from a super long article to a super short one. Krieger also added that he decided to cast Austin Abrams in the lead role while working on his previous film, The Re-Education of Molly Singer. I thought he was going to say Weapons. Austin Abrams was in Weapons, I'm pretty sure. The director was absolutely delighted with the collaboration and wrote the script for Resident Evil. What do you mean, The Re-Education of Molly Singer? What are you talking about? It was Weapons. Is that another movie they did that no one knows about? What on earth is this person talking about? None of those people have anything to do with that movie. Like, what the hell? That's just like, not even like, what the hell? Can I comment on this? Hey, what is this? Why are you speaking in different languages? The guy like got everything wrong. What is the re-education of Molly Singer? What the fuck? Maybe he was in it? Austin Abrams was in that movie as an actor? Yeah, I don't see him anywhere in this movie. This person's insane. It's like, I can't read an article anymore without there being some glaring spelling mistake. Or this person's inventing, making up that these guys were in a movie together. Like, this is how dumb this person is. He got 2 things wrong. Saying that Home Alone came out in the 80s and talking about a movie that none of these people are in. Like, these people don't know how to write articles anymore. Like, for real. If you're going to use AI to write it, at least fucking edit it before you post it. You ingrates. Issued by MovieWeb. Wait, does that mean MovieWeb are the ones that got it wrong? This is like the same little it doesn't say anything here about this fucking what the hell? I've never seen a more retarded mistake in an article in my life. And Home Alone came out in 1990. So there. You got the years wrong, you got a name wrong. I almost want to say some millennial douchey thing like facts matter, but fuck that. Sorry, I just got demonetized. Like, am I gonna be demonetized anyway? See, this is some weird European site that so it uses like European-based programs. So I'm here registering on this site now. Do I really care that much? I don't know. I don't like misinformation. Like, if you're writing an article that people are going to read, get the information right. Like, Jesus, where the hell do they find these people? They just hire people, too many freelancers. It's like all these people that write this shit are freelancers. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you managed to think. Gregor and Abrams had nothing to do with. They worked on weapons last. Home Alone came out in 1990. Not in the 80s. These people have no fucking clue. Like, they shouldn't even be writing. They shouldn't be getting paid to fucking not write anything that's accurate. People are stupid. So there you go. You made me said it. I had no choice. You made me do it. I had to sign up to educate you because you clearly don't know what the butt you're talking about. At least MovieWeb got it right, so I don't get how you can take an article that already exists that's just as short, basically almost copy and paste it, and then still get it wrong. See? Right here, it was during the production of Weapons that the director made up his mind. I'd written this before I shot Weapons, and while we were shooting, I kind of knew, I was like, this dude also Abrams. Like, we just had such a good thing on that movie. I just, if you can't tell, adore Austin like to pieces. I just love him. And we had such a great time making the chapter of that movie, and I was like, it was a done deal while we were shooting Weapons. The most successful films are a result of rich collaborations between directors and actors, which makes Resident Evil feel like more promising. Krager and Abrams developed a fun rapport that referenced so many action classics. LMAO, 80s influenced by the movie made in modern times. Yeah. Claude has it right, but he's being a dick as usual. Yeah, you're clearly so idiotic that your foolish opinion doesn't matter. That's classic. Dan Brown reboot. Damn, now I almost feel sorry for you. Not comprehending the concept of influences. That's jaw-dropping. I'd just not weigh on it. Your brain is swinging fireball. That's a pretty good burn, I'm not gonna lie. But like, your brain is swinging far below its punching weight. He's not wrong. I mean, influences are just that. They're influences. Doesn't matter what movie you're influenced by. You could be influenced by a movie that came out in the 50s. It don't matter. Oh wait, this is that long ass article that. So this is that we're talking about. Long-awaited epic fantasy adaptation finally milestone. I'm having a great show today. I'm fucking dying on screen. Yeah, this is about the Elden Ring adaptation. Video game adaptation of industry punchline. Yeah, here's the opening part where they always say, those movies suck. Now they're good. I'm just going to skip those parts from now on. Elden Ring, Alex Garland's live-action take from 2022's dark fantasy, has wrapped for nearly 6 months of production. It's a movie, right? Movies don't take 6 months to shoot usually. A24 and Bandai Namco confirmed in April that the adaptation would open March 3rd, 2028. Shot at IMAX with a cast led by Kit Connor, Kaylee Spinay, Ben Wickshaw, and Nick Offerman, and a budget north of $100 million. That's still not that much when you consider how big budgets can be. Who's Kit Connor again? I forget. Oh. Some cracker. This guy is a cracker. Word of the rap came from the crew rather than the studio. Prop maker Sean Schofield posted a photo on Instagram of a rap gift and a thank you note by Garland and producers Peter Rice, Andrew McDonald, Matthew, whatever, Davey, and Charlie Reed. Don't knock over my smoothie. I'll be so mad if you do that. Oh, really? So you posted it and then you took it down. Well, it's kind of dumb. That's a pretty dumb thing to do, though, I think. You should know better to post that. Yeah, see? Why did I even click on it? He just said it was gone. Yeah, that's kind of dumb. He should know better than that. He probably got in trouble. Calling it the dream job to end all dream jobs. The post has since come down, which is maybe not what you would expect from production that has kept a tight grip. Stupid. Garland's claim on this one has been unusually personal for a studio adaptation. He's a genuine From Software obsessive, and rather than wait to be offered the job, he wrote a script on spec. I think I forgot about that part. He wrote a script on spec anyways. That's usually how you don't do it. Technically, writing a script on spec for an IP is, illegal. So I guess obviously it worked, but I'm like, it's risky to do that. You could be like, hey, I wrote a script based on your thing, and the guy could be like, well, I'm going to sue you. I never asked you to do that. But, Alex Garland was a known person, so. Wrapping principal photography in July for a March 2028 release something like 19 months of post. Considering it took 6 months to shoot, and now they're going to do 19 months of post. It better be a freaking spectacular movie. But, I trust Garland, so. Which is a long runway, even given by the standards of effects-heavy fantasy. Given what the lands between actually requires on screen, from earthly vistas to boss designs fans can recite from memory, that timeline doesn't read as troubled. What fans have a go on until is thin. Set footage leaked in the spring showed a faithful. Wait, how did I miss that? I think I missed that. Shit. That's back from April. Fuck, bad on me. Showed a faithful adaptation, recreation of Church of America. The cast Garland has assembled points to story reaching well beyond the tarnished. Wait, did he say Melania instead of? I think it's Melina or something. Maybe they didn't put it in there. I don't know. I want to watch this. I never saw this before. There's zero security at all. Other than a couple of fences, but like, there's no one keeping them from shooting it. No security. I wonder if that's where they're shooting it? No, it's already strapped down, so they're probably just waiting to like move it somewhere else. Oh, this article's so old they didn't even have the cast yet. Well, you know, that could be interesting. Six months to shoot is a long time for a movie. Maybe they shot a whole bunch in a row. They did like a Lord of the Rings and they shot like 3 at once. Tom Holland's decisive video game has been resurrected. This isn't too interesting. Just something to do with the Uncharted movie suddenly being popular again. It did okay. It had 400 million at the box office. But the reviews are pretty low. Okay. Not really much of an article. The game was popular, movie was popular again, probably because of Spider-Man just coming out. Tech Radar has an article published 7 hours ago. We're talking to Story Kitchen, who are been doing a lot of adaptations. That's our next mission, proving that games are art. Story Kitchen, the bold, trailblazing studio. So they're just doing an article about Story Kitchen themselves. It is easier, but it's not easy. Story Kitchen co-founder Dimitri Johnson interjects. I'm midway through an in-depth interview with Johnson and business partner Mike Goldberg about their pioneering entertainment company when the former clarifies something he alluded to earlier. The topic in question, pitching movies and TV shows based on video game properties and other studio figureheads, is still challenging. That's in spite of a myriad of recent examples of popular game franchises. Earlier, the topic. Thus, in spite of myriad recent examples of popular game franchises being turned into other screen-based art forms that have achieved critical and commercial success, we're working every day to continue changing the stigma that games are only for kids and lazy people who still live in their mom's basement. It's always gotta be your mom's basement. Why isn't it your dad's basement or your grandfather's basement? Johnson ends with a wry smile. These artists and storytellers in their own right, and their work deserve to be seen by more people. I don't know. To me, it's like, if you even say stuff like that, you're kind of insulting your fan base. Summer Games Fest. This was from like over a month ago already. You probably haven't heard of Story Kitchen, but you definitely know the game adaptations they've helped shaped. From Paramount Pictures' money-spinning Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, Netflix animated Tomb Raider, and to Primer's forthcoming TV reimaginations of Lara Croft-fronted game series, and Don't Nod's beloved first Life is Strange title, Story Kitchen is at the forefront of what unsurprisingly being labeled as the golden age. Because yes, we're middle of a golden age right now, so it's fun to think about that. We're in the middle of a golden age of game adaptations, and it could turn into be like the MCU eventually, where people get sick of it. But that's a while away. It's a cinematic epoch. Some people believe epoch would never happen, and with good reason. The 90s and early 2000s were littered with examples of maligned game adaptations, no means limited to Mario Bros. 93, 05 Doom, and 03's House of the Dead. The latter, which is rated one of the worst films on popular review site Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, I forgot that she was in that. I saw this once forever ago, but whatever her name is again, Amy something, I don't know. You got The Rock and Carl Urban, who wasn't a huge star yet. With so many entertainment giants failing to understand the source material, the game adaptation curse says sounds really good when stories are written about it became a catch-all term for those and similarly crucified productions. Combine that with the notion that, as Goldberg notes, Hollywood didn't respect the gaming community, devs or publishers. That was until DJ2 Entertainment, the precursor to Story Kitchen, co-founded by Johnson and Dan Javins. Is that like because their initials are both DJ? Probably. The company's primary goal was simple: make Hollywood believe that video game stories are worth telling and investing in. Predictably, Hollywood just didn't see the appeal of turning games into movies or TV shows, and countless rejections followed. We set this company up in preparation for this moment. As PlayStation scraps this, these companies are ready to keep physical. Jesus, what am I doing? I'm reading the fucking articles. Then came Sonic the Hedgehog film. After slowly and methodically earning the trust and respect of Sega, Johnson convinced the Japanese game titan Paramount Pictures that people wanted to see the blue blur start in his own movie. A few notable setbacks, including the titular's character's speedy redesign, because they did not like that he had teeth, which did look silly. Fast forward to early 2020, though, and despite the pandemic bringing Sonic the Hedgehog's theatrical run to a premature end. Does that mean it came out before it technically happened? Even though the pandemic actually started in late November, but nobody knew about that. So the first one grossed $320 million on a $90 million budget. Dimitri always believed that with education and respect, a different result, game adaptation being successful, would occur. It's a new era, but not every game should be adapted. A lot has happened in the short time since Sonic Big Screen debut. He's not wrong. Film adaptations of other iconic or hugely popular game series, including Mario and Minecraft, have earned billions at the global box office. Meanwhile, TV retellings of hit franchises like The Last of Us Suffice it to say, the explosion of game adaptations is indicative of the industry-wide paradigm shift that also allowed DJ2 Entertainment to level up its game. Indeed, by investing the metaphorical skill points into the company's evolution from DJ2 Entertainment to Story Kitchen, onboarding industry talents like Alina Sandoval and Timothy Blablabla first look deals in Amazon in February 2022 and DreamWorks Animation May 2024. Johnson, Goldberg, and company are well placed to help create the next wave of gaming transmedia hits. At the time of publication, around 30 projects, some of which have already found homes and others that will be shopped around, are in the works at Story Kitchen. That might sound like a lot, but it's a mere raindrop in the ever-expanding gaming ocean. Hey, Noble Bull, what is up? Thanks for being here. So why doesn't Story Kitchen just take a long list of gaming titles to film studios, TV networks, and world streaming services and reel them off until one piques your interest? It's a new era, but not every game should be adapted, Goldberg replies. And every game should be adapted right now. We want to be a friend and advocate for space. Though, because we don't see this as a fleeting moment. We think it's got long-term potential, so we're working to ensure that we see that through. It's not to say Story Kitchen is only focused on adapting the big game franchises. AA and indie titles are as much a part of pitching process, if not more. We don't go into things like how many copies did this game sell. We actually despise that question and refuse to answer it. It doesn't really matter to them. We respond with, here's why these characters and stories are incredible, and here's why it's something we've never seen before. What it really boils down to is passion. What are the things that we can't stop thinking about and have to pursue? Once that process starts, we're convinced something has to be made, and that translates into our meetings with other companies. Initially, it might not necessarily make sense to them, but they all want to hear the pitch because it's coming from a place of passion. So most networks and studios are excited when we take something out to them. This isn't a cash grab. These conversations are happening because we actually care. And care. Johnson and Goldberg certainly do. The multi-billion-dollar spinning Sonic franchise, which currently comprises 3 movies and a Knuckles spin-off, has improved with every new entry. As of July 2026, a 4th flick is deep in post-production ahead of its March 19th, 2027 release date. My God, just reading so much. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 isn't the only thing that'll roll off Story Kitchen. Indeed, 2 TV projects are expected to make their prime debuts. The first of which has been Tomb Raider TV adaptation that Johnson admits has been years in the making. Overseen by Fleabag's Phoebe Waller-Bridge. It'll star Sophie Turner as gaming icon Lara Croft. Amazon revealed a perfect first shot look at Croft's classic tank and shirts combo. Thanks to partnership Story Kitchen established with Tomb Raider custodians and video game developer Crystal Dynamics during development, Johnson says, we have a very clear blueprint of how to move together as partners. So when Amazon, which already had an agreement with Crystal Dynamics to publish future Tomb Raider games, proposed making a live-action show, it seemed like lightning in a bottle. Every decision is made with Crystal Dynamics sign-off, so Season 1 has their blessings and they're very hands-on. But they also respect Phoebe, who's a super fan and perspective of a Tomb Raider as it should be. We've actually just started seeing rough cuts and we're grinning like 10-year-olds the entire time. It's going to be good. By the way, we're not the type of people who can hype up their own S*T. It's going to be something. Type up their own slut? What are they trying to say there? I don't know. I can't fill out that word. It's going to be, by the way, we hype up their own shat. I don't know. It's going to be something that your mom can come across and not know that it's based on a 30-year-old video game franchise. We don't want to be a niche adaptation just for core fans. But if we do our job right, which we're tirelessly trying to do, newcomers will fall in love with this show as much as we have. Wait, is that the end of the article? Nope. Still more. Life is Strange is a whole other beast. The 2015 episodic adventure, which tells the story of a high schooler named Max, who who discovers she can rewind time, is famous for its branching dialogue, option-based narrative. Ultimately, though, the choices players can make during any given playthrough lead to just one of two endings. In collaboration with production partners Amazon, Life is Strange franchise publisher Square Enix, Margot Robbie's Lucky Chap. How is Story Kitchen tackling an evolving tale built on player choice? Furthermore, how did they decide which ending not to only to use, but one that, regardless of what happens, is Life is Strange reunion? AKA Deck 9's 2024 sequel. Oh my god, these articles are so long. Only because I still want to see season 3. We went to Life is Strange knowing that almost all the major decisions were split 50-50. So at the start of development, you have to accept that you're not going to make everyone happy. That said, the way we're approaching... What movie are you talking about? Oh. Life is Strange. Only because it's part of this bigger article about Story Kitchen, which is a studio that does only adaptations. And Life is Strange is one of the ones you're doing. It's full steam ahead for Amazon MGO studio adaptations of two award-winning popular Haze-like games, It Takes Two and Split Fiction. Where the latter is concerned, things are still in early stages of development. However, prolific actor Sydney Sweeney, Wicked Duology director John M. Chi, and Deadpool writers Rhett Reese and Paul Warnick are, as confirmed by Goldberg, all involved. I'm good, how are you? Thanks for asking. You play these games with your significant other, friend, or family member, and everyone has their own experience. It's been such a fun challenge. Of interpreting that and turning into a singular shared experience. Reese and Wernick even insisted on playing the game, and that's how we want our village to be built. Reese and Wernick even insisted on playing the games, and that's how we want our village to be built. You're not required to be a game, but we love that they wanted to play. To be a game. To play a game, you dumb fuck. But we love that they wanted to play and experience it together before they committed to this Adaptations, and that's going to influence their own script. As for It Takes Two film imagination, it's been over 4 years since Dwayne Johnson's $7 production team boarded the Amazon-led project. Does he have like multiple different... Okay, how many motherfucking DJs are there over here? Speaking to Eurogamer last March, Hazelight creative director Joseph Fares, who's not known for mincing words, took aim at how long it was taking for the film to move forward. Yeah, well, he actually said F Hollywood before, but now Hollywood's come knocking on his door to adapt his games. Hollywood, there's so much bull. Star T. Fares responded when asked for an update. I think 90% of these meetings are actually B star T, and 10% of what actually happened. There's a lot of talk, but not a lot of walk. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully something. It could be cool to get something out of it, but my hopes are not so high. They are, Johnson says, when asked if Ferris, Hazelight, and Johnson's company are still involved. Before he adds, "We are so close to the Hazelight boys at this point that there's a shorthand with them." It's not necessary. That's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to 30-plus film projects Story Kitchen plans on delivering. Johnson and Goldberg want to cover as many genre bases and demographics as possible, so they are doing adaptations of Roblox. Film adaptations of 3 Roblox games. 3 movies, Grow a Garden, Steal a Brain Rot, and Jailbreak. As are Just Cause, Shinobi, and Ruiner. Elsewhere, Netflix has signed on to bring Sifu and Kingmaker adaptations to its user base. Lionsgate is working hard on Streets of Rage, and film reimaginings of indie hits Disco Elysium and Dredge. Additionally, a House of the Dead movie led by Last of Us and Superman star Isabel Merced, She's Our Homie, John C. Beams, is just another Story Kitchen's other planned projects. It isn't just video games that are being turned into movies either. Toys R Us, a popular toy retailer from 80s and 90s, that's recently enjoyed a resurgence in the US, is getting a live-action treatment. Meanwhile, Teddy Ruxpin, an animatronic storytelling bear that was a US bestseller in the 80s, will star in a feature. Well, whatever. I think it's going to be the same way as Barbie, self-confessed Teddy Ruxpin fan Johnson says. I went into thinking that, ugh, cash grab, and then I had a little tear in the eye by the 3rd act. If the Teddy Ruxpin movie is funnier than any... the Teddy Ruxpin... Wait. Oh, you're saying that it's already been made? The Teddy Ruxpin movie is funnier than it has any right to be. We have ridiculous musical numbers that we shouldn't. When we shouldn't, and it's so brilliant bananas that it works. I think it's going to catch people off guard. Yeah, I think they're going to make Teddy Ruxpin popular again. But will it still take tapes? Probably not. They'll just have like a cord to plug into it, and like you can just put your songs on it. Back to the games, and perhaps most importantly, Story Kitchen's mission is to create films and TV shows not only based on love titles from the past. We're about to pitch a show based on a game that hasn't even been announced, Goldberg teases. And should nothing change, it'll finally be announced at the 2026 Game Awards. But we're already going to take a fully fleshed package and scripted TV drama pitch to the studios next month. Whatever that soon-to-be-announced game is, the developer will surely hope it performs as well as 2025 surprise hit Claire Obscure Expedition Terre de Tree. The first ever title from French studio Sample Interactive unexpectedly dominated the gaming sphere last year with over 8 million copies sold and numerous award wins under its belt. It's little wonder that the critically and commercially successful title is being turned into a live-action film. As Johnson is keen to point out, Clear Obscure bandwagon isn't the one Story Kitchen jumped on post-launch. As a company, we pride ourselves on not chasing heat. We're less likely to presume a game once it's been an established hit because we don't ever want to be seen as those people. We were actually working with Sandfall as early as 2023. We read almost 600 pages of scripts, raw music files, art to look at, so we fell in love with it before we saw any real gameplay. So they basically wanted to adapt it before it even came out. Obviously, you don't know how a game is going to perform, so we went into this knowing it would be a tough sell. Without the massive success it had, it would have been an uphill battle to pitch our movie Adaptations to studios. But as I said earlier, once the passion kicks in, we don't take no for an answer. You were convinced 3 years ago that this is going to be something excited about. And that's all we can say about that right now. If there's one thing I took from my chat with Johnson and Goldberg, it's this. They genuinely care about what they're doing, like a lot. They don't phone in their work, nor did they lazily trot out to stock responses to my questions. They're completely committed to telling the world that games are not only great, that stories are also worth translating and telling in other mediums. There's so much more a Story Kitchen wants to accomplish, though. Even with the abundance of production art on your plate, Johnson and Goldberg have ambitions on adapting more franchises on the big and small screen. Dream projects, Mega Man. Surprisingly bad dudes. That'd be funny. Are these the ones that they're working on, or they want to work on? Because I thought I heard there was some kind of Mega Man thing happening. Excuse me. It's another long article. But such wish fulfillment must wait for another day, as we approach the tail end of what was supposed to be an hour-long interview. Goldberg reveals that he and Johnson are being summoned by Amazon for a meeting, the contents of which he cannot disclose. It's a sign of just how busy the pair have become, and they wouldn't have it any other way. After all, Story Kitchen is no ordinary pastime project. It's reshaping the multimedia landscape as we know it. We were recently looking back on our list of games to consider for last year's BAFTA, and there's one from a tiny Australian team called The Drifter. After I came across it in 2025, I couldn't stop gushing. Yeah, I couldn't stop gushing. Anyway, we ended up tracking them down, and in the very first meeting, we had another studio. were able to find a home for his indie game in the form of a big theatrical movie. That wouldn't have been possible 5 or 6 years ago, and that's why we're enjoying this moment now. Step 1 was getting rid of silly notion that games are cursed. Step 2, say this with a straight face, and you'll see Oscars, Emmys, and BAFTAs. I don't think I could ever see Oscar, but you never know. It might get nominated for effects or something. It's a long article. So this is a new announcement the other day for another game series that I'm not aware of, I don't think. But over here on Screen Rant, a hit new survival stories franchise officially getting movie and TV adaptations. Getting both? 5 years after launching, a popular survival horror franchise is officially making the jump to the movie and TV spaces. In 2021, the popular horror game Tormented Souls was released, developed by Dual Effect, and published by P-Cube for consoles like Switch, PS5, Series X. After starting out on Steam, follow a young woman in 1984 trying to stay alive in an abandoned mental hospital. The game was met with positive critical reception. I don't know if I've heard of any of these games. Tormented Souls 1 and 2. As shared by Deadline, ZQ Entertainment, Prime, Universal Films, Longevity Pictures have obtained movie rights and TV rights. ZQ will finance the development of this project and co-finance its production. Ara Kashinichin and Peter Jekyll from the company will produce alongside Prime Universe Films. Names. I don't know who these names are. Who cares? Skip down to what this is, because I've never heard of it. Envision it as a Resident Evil style third-person shooter game. Tormented Souls follows a Canadian woman.
Rated M for mature.
Oh my god! Turn it off, you bastard!
I feel something lurking around.
It's just like
in the
Rogue.
dark.
Well, she's Canadian, so that automatically makes her dope. Who travels to the aforementioned abandoned hospital to learn the fate of twin girls. Upon arriving, she's knocked unconscious, has her right eye surgically removed, and must fight back against humanoid monsters. Oh. That's a bandage over her eye. I thought it was her hair. She solves the mystery of these girls and uncovers the hospital dark secret. Sounds like a pretty simple story, but I like simple stories. Ascarai previously produced 07's Hitman and 2015's Hitman Agent 47, so he and Prime Universe know their way around game adaptations. It's unclear if a Tormented Souls project will be a movie as well. A TV series instead. So they don't know what they're making from it. They just snatched up the IP. Some people don't look excited about the new Zach Krager Resident Evil movie. I'm looking forward to it. I think it can be good. Pardon me. I don't really know. What else is there to talk about? If you're still there, Bull, what you been playing? There's something over here about... I'm not sure if this means anything. This just seems like one of those speculation articles. And over on GameSpot, the Odyssey has us thinking about Christopher Nolan's video game adaptation ideas. What does that mean? Did he have an idea for it? I think maybe he did. I don't know. A new Christopher Nolan is always cause for celebration, as a celebrated filmmaker has produced some of the most talked about flicks of all time. The Odyssey is looking to be another blockbuster, and also a reminder that the world could do with a video game or two based on his movies. So is that just an article about him saying that, or did he actually say that? FF7 remake. Okay. I played the first remake one, but I didn't play any of the ones after. That's not to say Nolan hasn't toyed around with the idea of video game adaptations of his work, but he's well aware of how tough the industry is. Yeah, so he just means adapting his movies to games, not the other way around. Making films is complicated and takes a long time. Making video games is even more complicated and takes even longer. Nolan said back in 2020. Was he at the Game Awards in 2020, or that was just you just saying that he's the host? I don't remember seeing Keeley ever interview Christopher Nolan. The way the video game industry works is really tough. You don't want to just be doing a licensed game, trying to do something and using the brand established by the film. The same way you don't want to build a video game adaptation to a film. You don't want to just draft off the brand. You want it to be something great in its own right. It's not something you'll ever take on lightly, but it's definitely something I'm interested in. Oh, this is some Fandango thing from like 6 years ago. We almost had a dream Christopher Nolan video game. That's not to say Nolan hasn't dabbled in a game adaptation. He wasn't involved in the Gellin of EA's Batman Begins tie-in, but his wife Emma Thomas and Oscar went holy cannoli bacon. Oscar-winning cinematographer Wally Pfister, is that really her name? Were active consultants on the game's visuals and gameplay. Nolan had considered making a game adaptation on Inception. Not long after, the project was officially greenlit. I always imagined Inception to be a world where lots of other stories could take place. Nolan said in 2010. That was when the movie first came out. At the moment, the only direction we're channeling is that by developing a video game set in the world. Sadly, a developer was never officially announced for the project, and it quietly fizzled out. Since then, the director has made several more award-winning mind-bending movies like Dunkirk, Tenet, and Oppenheimer. And it's not hard to imagine how any one of these movies could work as a video game. We're sure there's a cozy angle to be taken with a video game that follows Robert Oppenheimer as he grapples with his role as creating the ultimate weapon. As for the Odyssey, it's an adaptation of Homer's ancient Greek epic poem of the same name. It has a stacked cast of actors, including Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, and Charlize Theron. Oh, it's getting a game adaptation, but it's tie-in through Roblox. Okay, so Roblox does do that, like Fortnite does, which I didn't know that was. Maybe they've always been doing that. I don't know. I don't follow it. Alternatively, games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Immortals Phoenix Rising, and both of Supergiant's Hades Adventures, should scratch that itch for action during an age of myths and legend. I heard that Assassin's Creed Odyssey has gotten popular again just because of the Odyssey movie. though I don't think people know that they're not related. Huh, I didn't know that. Christopher Nolan's Odyssey now is his own game, but it's in Roblox. A survival sailing adventure game, Odyssey Defy the Gods, is now on Roblox and it's free. In the game, players will scavenge mysterious worlds to find food and crew that have gone missing. I've been on for an hour and a half. And I don't know what else to talk about. Huh. This was just from yesterday. Tom Holland reveals his favorite video game and why he cannot play Fortnite. Actor Tom Holland, who starred Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie, has shared a new insight into his gaming habits and is a big fan of another Naughty Dog game. He also discussed how difficult he finds Fortnite to be. Asked on the Happy Sad Confused podcast who his name his favorite video game, and he said Last of Us 2. Interesting. But he did watch the show. He said he did not, in part because he holds the game in such high regard. I like to. A lot of people don't like Last of Us 2, but I like it. The game, I mean. Season 2, not so much. I have not watched the series because I love the game so much. I don't play video games all that much, but this game is just so good. It's just so good, mate. I guess Holland's one of the biggest actors in the world right now. He's like 30 years old. He's in Spider-Man and The Odyssey around the same time, like a week or two within release. He's in the two biggest movies of the entire year, basically. Season 2 of HBO's The Last of Us adapted some of the events of Part 2, and Season 3 is expected to... Yeah, Season 3 is going to be Abby's story. Just like in the games, you play What's-Her-Face first, and then you play Abby. And I actually loved it. People really hated that, but I loved it. The HBO series was never billed as a one-on-one adaptation of the game, and indeed, it makes a number of changes. Holland is not alone, as a number of other people have expressed similar reservations about watching the show. Also in an interview, Holland has asked if he ever played as one of the Uncharted Spider-Man skins in Fortnite. Did he ever play Spider-Man, the games? Because those games are really good. He said he does not play Fortnite at all that much because of how challenging the game is, especially when it's full of people with serious building skills. I'm so bad at Fortnite, I cannot play it. I don't know why I got Holland talking like some dirty, like old British guy. I don't think you've ever gone kill in Fortnite. When you play those people who start building stuff, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do that. I don't know. Didn't it start out as like a building game and then became more of a shooter? Holland 30 stars in what are expected to be two of the 2026 biggest movies. He plays Telemachus, whatever, Odyssey, and Peter Parker in Brand New Day. I'm going to see Brand New Day tomorrow. Sony's Uncharted movie released in 2022, which made more than $400 million globally, as ranked as number 8 highest grossing video game movie ever. Excuse me. This is a somewhat new article. Top highest grossing video game movies. It's like a month or so ago. Why not read that? I never seen this before. Big business. 2026 kicked off with the next game movies. The Super Mario Galaxy movie is already number 2 highest grossing game of all time. It surpassed an astonishing 1 billion. That makes this Hollywood's highest grossing movie of 2026. It was not the first video game adaptation from Hollywood and won't be the last. But where does the Minecraft movie rank all time against biggest game movies? In this gallery, we're rounding up the highest grossing game films of all time. top 16 list? Top 10. I don't know. I guess it's from highest to lowest. But Super Mario Bros. Obviously it's the first one. I don't think I need to read all of it. Just want to see how much it made worldwide. Then second is Super Mario Galaxy, which made just over $1 billion. Minecraft almost made $1 billion. People keep saying it did make $1 billion, but nope. Sonic 3, 462. Somewhat impressive that Pokemon Detective Pichu is still there in 2019. It's still the 5th highest grossing. Warcraft, I was an extra on that. Rampage, funny. I didn't realize it did that well. The movie wasn't that bad, honestly. It was like, you know, about as good as a movie about Rampage could be. And I love the Rampage games. Rampage was like one of my first favorite games. It still kind of is one of my favorite games ever. I didn't realize it did that well. Uncharted is the 8th, 407. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, 4.5 million. Angry Boys, 350 million. Really? Prince of Persia's Hands of Times, 336 million. Oh, the first Sonic. I thought the first Sonic would have done better. Didn't they say Sonic 3 was one? Sonic 3, yeah. They're doing Sonic 4 now. Like, it's going to come out soon-ish. Resident Evil, final chapter. Jesus, they did so much better internationally. It's kind of interesting. Like, certain ones do way better internationally, and it could be because of the IP itself. Like, domestically, Prince of Persia only did 90 million, but international, 240 million. That's a bit... Fuck off. That's a pretty big difference. 26 domestically. Like, that's shit. 26 domestic, but then it made 280 international for final chapter. Another Resident Evil. It's like Resident Evil is a huge IP anyways. Like, maybe it did well in Japan. Even though the Mila Jovovich movies are all ass as far as I'm concerned. Five Nights at Freddy's International. It did pretty even. Domestic international, 290 million. Tomb Raider. Again, it's like all these IPs that have like an international appeal to it or whatever do way better over. So it was just an article I randomly ran across that I wanted to look at. But I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. If you're still here, Noble Bull, that's episode of Tgan Live. Episode 26. Peace out. Keep gaming.